Where did my symbol go? I think we're on number 3 in a series. We're looking at 2 different symbols that look the same. Here we picked this one. It says in the object info palette that it's a 2D, 3D symbol. Symbol 1, then we picked this one, and it's a 2D, 3D symbol in the object info palette, and it's symbol 2. And if we show that and we want to see what's going on, we can open up the organization palette, and we see that we are on a design layer that's 1-to-1. We're on the active design layer number 2. It happens to be 1-to-1. So here's 2 different symbols. They look the same, and we think they are the same. But there's a couple things that we're looking at that are going to give you a clue as to what could happen when you accidentally, or maybe on purpose, create a symbol this way. If we go to the other layer that's here, we see a symbol way over here, a little bitty symbol. Oh, wait a minute, that's symbol number 1 again. And here, this one is symbol number 2 again. Right here in the object info palette, we see units, paged base, and it's in green. If we pick this symbol over here, this symbol, symbol 1, is world base. World base, page base. What has happened here? Let's go back to this layer. Again, we're on a layer that's 1-to-1. And when we are looking at this layer here, this layer is at a different scale. This layer, now active, you can see the check mark, 148. Symbols that seemed like they were identical are suddenly radically different. So what happened? If we look in the resource manager here, we see symbol 1, symbol 2, or we can pick them out on the page here. This is a design layer that's set 1-to-1. The name of the symbol is 2, but this page base gives you an indication. The norm in most workflows is to have world base, but on occasion you want something that's page based. And what happens is when you go to any page, it stays the same size. And the scale is different, but the symbol is the same size. That's the intent. It's not wrong, but where this happens is in the creation stage. So let's go in here. We're going to edit the symbol options. And you see that right here it says units, page, or world. This symbol, symbol 1, happens to be world base. And this symbol that looks the same happens to be page based. So what happens when you're drawing and you make a page base unit for your symbol and you go to make another symbol? You end up with VectorWorks assuming that you want it to be page based again. Now if you do, that's great. Off you go, make another symbol, it's page based. But if for some reason you make a page based, which I find is a rare thing to do, and a world base is a common thing to do, you may find yourself losing your symbol and going, where did my symbol go? And the reality is, it didn't go anywhere. It's just a case of one symbol being world base and one symbol being page base. Again, you may find, depending on your scales, that the symbols do not look radically different. Again, we're looking at the object info palette to see which is which, and we're going into the organization palette to see what layer they are on. And 1-to-1 is where we see them both being very similar. 1-to-48 is where we see them very different. And again, you will end up saying to yourself, where did my symbol go? Keep in mind, when you do this by accident, let's say, or because you're not sure what that means when it says page base, you could end up with a symbol that looks kind of correct. But depending on your scales, as we just showed, we had a 48 difference between the 2 design layers. You may end up with something that kind of looks the same and confuses you from the standpoint of why does it look like this, especially if you produce several viewports. You may render something in a viewport and you look at a symbol in a specific view and it doesn't just look right. So in this case, you may not exactly say, where did my symbol go? You may say, why does my symbol look so weird? Why does my symbol look so different? Why does my symbol not behave? So let's do a little recap. If we make 2 symbols, here's symbol 1. You can see in the object info palette symbol 1. That's where you look to find out what you have selected. then we pick this one, symbol 2, but keep in mind right there, the green clues you in that it's page-based. The same is true in the resource manager. So you see these and you look at them as being the same, but VectorWorks thinks of them as being different. And as soon as you have them on a design layer, once you put them onto a design layer that has a different scale than where they were originally created, the world one changes. That's what it should do. But the page one does not. The page one matches the page. And since the design layer is not something that changes page setup to page setup, these both would end up having the same page setup that you get when you want to go and print, or when you set up your initial design. In VectorWorks, you always set up your page setup. You pick whatever printer you want, or any printer. You can set up the size for paper, the orientation, etc. And that is your page setup. And then you base your scale to fit that page. You're always drawing it 1-to-1. Keep that in mind. The page scale that we get when we look in the organization palette, this design layer scale, is a relationship of how this geometry will look on the page you just set up. So even though this is at 1-to-1 and this is at 1-to-48, they both have the same accuracy. Nothing is different. There's an old-fashioned myth from legacy software that you should always draw 1-to-1, but that is a long-gone myth that does not exist in VectorWorks. So keep in mind again that you do your page setup. You set up your page. That determines what your output will look like, your PDF or your print. Then you use your organization palette and you set up scales so that what is on your design layer looks correct on the page. That said, you can have symbols that are page-based or that are world-based. Here one is page-based, one is world-based. And depending on where you create them, what design layer, what scale that design layer is set up to, will determine how they look. Again, the takeaway here is that you normally design a symbol in most workflows that I'm aware of as a world base. The exception to the rule and the classic way that you would use a page base is a north arrow, that on every page you want to go in the same direction and be the same size. So keep this in mind. Again, if you stumble into this problem, the best bet is to recreate the symbol. You can try going to this edit symbol options and change from page to world. It may change into what you want, and it may not. Also keep in mind, this is another one of those where VectorWorks assumes that you make one page base, then you want to make lots more. So watch for that, along with a few other things. Take a look at where did my symbol go? Number 2, it's the second in the series about inserting into the wall. Here's a checkbox that automatically came up, and we talk about it in another video. I hope this helps with your workflow. Remember, in VectorWorks, there's many ways to draw things. That's how I drew it. Thanks for watching.